Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Community Review Sunday edition. We got a packed house today, so I'm going to try to get it going pretty quick here. I do not have a cat. We had a dog here at the house very recently, but she got very old. But no cat here, I'm afraid. I'm allergic, actually. I have nothing against cats. I like them, but I can't live with them, unfortunately. But yeah, welcome everybody to Live Community Review. This is a live event we do here in the Indie Music Feedback Discord group, where everybody gets to share a song up to 7 minutes long, and we will give you feedback in real time on your music, whatever kind of feedback you're looking for. It can be any style, it can be any genre, it can be any skill level, it can be any amount of finished song, it can be work in progress or something you're mixing or something that's already released. Anything in between is allowed. And I think everybody knows the guidelines on feedback. Keep it constructive and helpful, and everybody will be happy and come away the better for it, inspired to make new music like I was last Sunday. So first up today, I believe, is Iman Spark. It is indeed Iman Spark, who has a released song, a collab. Let me get it up here. All right, Iman says, my most awaited collab with Mr. Meowscles, one of the most euphoric and uplifting trance songs that will take you on a healing journey. Mr. Meowscles absolutely rocked on guitars with his amazing guitar solo melodies. I designed one of my classic Iman sledgehammer kicks for this, designed some ethereal plucks as well, and wrote supporting melodies, counter melodies, and harmonies, and arpeggios to give it that extra emotional feel. Feeling also got the chance to use the storm sounds I recorded last year on my phone. I used the storm sounds to make the atmosphere textures and also designed the main pads with it. The song has hidden elements in it as well. If you listen carefully, you'll be able to hear them. Composition and production wise, it's a very complex song. So let me know what you guys think. Does it heal you? Does it take you on an ethereal journey? All right. Awesome. Great story. Here is the tune. All right. What a way to start. That was Iman Spark featuring Mr. Meowsicles on guitar. Yeah, great. Very uplifting. Very, yeah, that was the perfect song to start with because it just set the mood. And it's a collab. I mean, come on. It just couldn't write it better if it was fiction. But yeah, no, that's a great track. I really like it. I like the combination of guitar and that pluck lead. They meld in a very interesting way. But the break, I love the break in the middle where it's just the pluck and the pads. I really like that part as well. That part is, when I heard it the first time, that part stood out to me as my favorite part. But now I've heard it probably like 4 or 5 times, I guess, and I like all of it. I like the melding of the leads a lot. So great job. Thanks for starting us off. And next up, we have Pog Maz, who rolled a 6. Yeah, if you accidentally roll twice, it will just count the first one. It's smart. A smart computer. Smart Volps. Okay, Pogma says, I wanted to make another 180 BPM song because it's hella addicting. And I made this. Nothing special, not the best mixed, but I still think it's pretty cool. Hope you enjoy. Made in FL Studio Mobile. I haven't gone to 180. I've only gone up to 174. But anyway, I'll have to try it. Here is Pogma's FL Studio Mobile. Represent. All right, here we go. Sorry, 1 second. I don't have it pulled up already. I'm a bad host. Here we go. Just a sec. Got it now. Here we go. Straw. All right. Hell yeah, that was Pogmaz. I loved that. Great energy. I love the kick and bass, especially. I can see why 180 is so fun to make. That's just a really fun, good energy track. There was a lot of things I really liked in it. Towards the end, there was that lead string sound type thing that was like doing that cool bend up to lead into the notes, and that sounded really, really cool. I loved that element in particular. But yeah, that was great. The kick and bass set the energy and the tone. It gave it like some grit, and then it kind of opened it up to be like sparkly and happy a little bit without being like cheesy. So yeah, great stuff. Loved it. The wonders of mobile. I got no excuse for just sitting on the couch. I should be busting open a DAW on my phone and getting to damn work. All right. So next up today we have Stripey. Going to SoundCloud. Okay, Stripey says, hey yo, this song is about imposter syndrome, which in true fashion has sat 99% done on my laptop for 8 months. I'm currently sound treating my room, hell yeah, so I've been set up on a sofa going through old projects. And Chameleon said to get more ears on this one at LCR. So here we are. Any feedback is welcome as always. Always trust Chameleon. That's what I've learned. Okay. Here is Stripey.
Send a message and I'll read it, but I won't reply. I'm never on time for these kinds of things. Constantly questioning everything. I could be doing so much better. Anxiety like stormy weather, always like the rain. Funny how that works. Look at myself but in the mirror it only gets worse than this. Send a message and I'll read it, but I won't reply. I'm never on time for these kinds of things. Constantly questioning everything. My thoughts got feelings that shoot through sleep. Counting cracks in the ceiling that feels too weak. I swear I'm trying, but trying feels fake. I just hold my breath before the ceiling breaks. Send a message and I'll read it, but I won't reply. I'm never on time for these kinds of things. Constantly questioning everything.
All right. Nice one. You never know when SoundCloud's going to play something next or just decide to stop. You never know. It just stopped that time. How nice. Okay. Anyway, that was awesome. I really, really liked that. I basically have no notes. I think it's perfect. Perfect mix. Everything sounds really good. I really like the vocals. The vocals sound very, very polished and like perfectly mixed and treated and all that good stuff. and like the filtering on the vocals and stuff sounded good. So yeah, I basically got no notes. I think that the kick and the bass were sounding really good. I could feel the sub bass hitting. So yeah, I think yeah, no need to feel like an imposter with this one. It's perfect. My voice should be normal, but I can turn it up a little bit if it's too quiet. Looks like it may be a little bit quieter, which is weird. Maybe that's better, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it's not distorting or something. I have a bunch of stuff on it, so it shouldn't clip. All right, awesome. So next up today we have Mr. Meowsicles. And now for something completely different. So this is one I wrote an initial single guitar skeleton for the other night for Songwriting Blitz. I spent the last 2 hours today fleshing it out, adding drums, bass, and melody work, and a quick mix. As always, all feedback welcome, but most interested in if it feels like it progresses well, and also what it makes you feel, as most of my stuff in this style is trying to capture nostalgic emotions. All right, here we go. I'm sorry, I have to restart it. That was bad. Misclick. All right, that was Mr. Meowscles. Oh, that was amazing. The only mixed thoughts I had were in the first half. I think the second half was done pretty flawlessly. I think the drums in this one sound particularly good, and are mixed well. I was just noticing in that middle section that chonky guitar was a little bit loud in the mix, but it sounded good, so it just needs to be turned down just a little bit. But that's it. That's all I got. Tiny little notes. That sounded really good. Really, really good. Yeah, I'm hoping to have something ready for Blitz, so I'll be able to hear it again in a couple of days. Exciting stuff. All right. So next up today we have Wolfmeister, aka Wolfie, aka Wolf Asylum, who has been doing a massive remastering project of his entire catalog. So Wolfie says, and now back to some electronic stuff. Here's my tune called Space Acid, and that too is the genre of the music. Big spacey synths with ample reverb that trail off into the distance with some nice 303 acid sounds within it, backed up with some rather tasty beats. I've been improving my mixing and mastering intensely for the last few months, and I personally feel the tune is on point, myself, and complete. I intend to write more like this, and I consider the feedback a success if it encourages playful yet engaging themes in your imagination of interstellar space travel and life on distant worlds. The whole sci-fi thing, hopefully it doesn't just get perceived as some video gamey style, even though I find some game OSTs inspiring. But anyways, not my intention to ever write for them. But anyways, hope you enjoy all the same. All right, here is Wolfmeister. All right. That was great. Definitely. Okay. So, definitely sounds mix wise, master wise, like really, really good. Definitely. You said you've been working on the process a little bit, and it sounds really good. Really, really good. It's very like rich and full and punchy. The drums sound loud, but not like stupid EDM loud. And just overall, the balance mix wise was very full and rich sounding, like I said, and just good. Just sound really, really good. So yeah, great job on the mix and the master. Also that one, that's just a great tune. That's just a great composition and arrangement as well. So great choice of tune to play for us today, because that was a great one. I really liked that snare. It was like a throwback to your industrial sounding stuff that you've shared. So yeah, it was cool. It was like a combination of old and new Wolfie sounds. Anyway, awesome. Really good stuff. Thank you for sharing. And I look forward to hearing that one when it hits Spotify. I'm sure I will see it. All right. So next up today, we got Zell, who did not want to go first. Don't blame you. Okay, Zell says, ooh, we get lyrics too, nice. Okay, in week 2 of my Find My Style challenge, I flipped an Andrew Huang sample to create Alienated. This track takes my confident yet jokey rap style in a more reflective direction. It's about being lonely and trying to find friends. It has a similar vibe to Sanity, but with more humor and a sci-fi alien theme, because why not? That's right. Why not? As before, I'd love feedback on the style and whether you enjoyed it. I kept ad-libs and sound effects minimal, though there is a distortion layer on the vocals, and the tone shifts midway through the verse to something more serious. Any tips on vocal mixing would also be appreciated, as I recorded this in the same room as last time. All right, here is Zell.
I'm alienated, cause I came down from the stars. Finding friends on earth is surprisingly hard. Thought I was smart enough to do this, but my light bulb head scares the other humans. I get a friend, then I lose it. I wish they could be pocketed. Friendships blow up in my face like one of Elon's rocket ships. I'm an outcast, no 3 sacks of daddy fat sacks. Shit ain't really good, he's trying to find out where my mom at. Yeah, I feel so lonely in this spaceship. I spiral in my mind, it feels like I can't escape it. Bad thoughts crashing like asteroids. The black hole pulls me in, I can't escape the void. I want some reassurance, I want some hugs and good times. I want some friends that'll stick with till the end of our lives. But that's not life, is it? Might as well just quit it. Nah, fuck that, I'm gonna go past my limit. I'm gonna use some satellites to go and send a message to find some other aliens that I can build connections with. On some Area 51 type shit, cause my homies gonna raid in and let their words rip. I'm with body snatchers and xenomorphs who spit that heat. We stay rapping and spit acid till you cannot see. We make your body crump till your chest burst and bleed. We gon' blast off and the whole earth will see. Yeah.
All right, that was Zell. Loved it. Give me some Deltron, Del the funky Homo sapien vibes, which I love. I guess it's the sci-fi part of it, but just kind of like the attitude of it too. But yeah, I really liked it. I think maybe the kick could hit a little harder, but the bass hit's really nice. So I don't know. It doesn't have to. Does not have to. But yeah, just overall, I really liked it. I liked all the different ideas, and like overall, it was mixed really good and sounded good. I guess like a little more time, like fine-tuning mix elements, I guess would be like where I would go next with it, but it depends on if you're like releasing it or whatever. But yeah, I really like it. I think it sounds really good. I like the song. It's just good, and it's like you said, it's funny but not like a joke song, so yeah. Yeah, just gave me like Deltron vibes big time. Hopefully that means good things for you. I don't know. I'm not very well educated on most music, but using it as practice. Well, I really like the style. I like the way you brought the sci-fi elements in. Yeah, gives it a lighthearted but still like cool and like serious real music sound. So yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. All right, so next up today we have Koyomi, who I need to download your song still. And there's one more. Who was it? We got you. Okay. I can get this going. Okay, Koyomi says it's just a typical AF rock song I made as a demo for somebody struggling to understand basic rock harmony and drums and stuff. I decided to flesh it out. The lyrics are half done, and it's just a very quick Ozone Master stills mixing. Would love some feedback on the sound, tone, mix, and the melody. I want to know if it's catchy or not, and the guitar solo in the bridge. All right, here's something different from Koyomi.
What could I go my
All right, that was Koyomi. Yeah, good stuff. I like it. Good song. I'm glad that you decided to turn it into a song. I think it's a good idea. I think it's fun. I think the vocals are catchy. Yes. So yeah, the vocals were Vocaloid, so that's why they were not sounding super natural. But actually, I was pretty impressed with your writing. I think your writing worked good to like make it sound more human than like just pure AI generated stuff. Anyway, yes, that was Vocaloid. I think he said it was Vocaloid. But anyway, I like the song. I like the writing. I think the guitar solo was a little bit out there with the dissonant notes. I think the idea worked with the rhythm guitar and what it was doing, but I think that the guitar on the right was a little bit experimental for the rest of the song. I think it kind of didn't work quite as well. I would go with something a little more melodic in the note choice, not necessarily change the idea you had, but just more conventional notes on the guitar. I think would be make a little more sense with the rest of the song. But anyway, so I think yeah, it needs a little bit more work, but yeah, and then the vocals were kind of loud, so when they hit the limiter, they kind of make everything squish down quieter, but that's okay because it's not like perfectly mixed or anything yet. But that was what that sound was hearing, that everyone was hearing, is it like squishes the limiter to where the vocal kind of takes over. But yeah, anyway, good stuff. Thanks for sharing. I liked the energy a lot. Definitely that anime vibe, but good stuff. Okay, so next up today is reality check. Ooh, mixing guitars guide. I'll save this for later. Oh, damn, 18 pages? Let's go. Okay, sorry. So, reality check says, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but this could actually be the beginning of a new full reality check LP. Fittingly, the song itself, called Alive, is about the struggles of creating art and the kind of toxic but committed relationship I have with it. This is also a new direction for me sonically. The mix is very crowded and loud and pretty hard to work with. I'm definitely far from finished with this. I'm curious if you think this is structurally finished or could be longer somehow. Other than that, please enjoy and let me know any critique you have. All right, reality check hype. Here we go. Don't fade me. Oh, that was awesome. I really liked that. It was very crispy, and it took a second to get used to it, but once I did, I really liked it. The only thing that sounded like maybe a little extra crispy is the vocals, but like I said, I got used to it like really quick, and like within 30 seconds my ears adjusted to it, and I really liked how it sounded. Yeah, it sounds like it's mostly like the mix is mostly crowded in the highs, because like the I think you did a really good job with the mids and the low mids. I know some people mentioned like more low mids in the guitars, but I don't know. I think the way you did the mids is very clever and sounds cool and unique. So yeah, I don't know. Keep experimenting, but I really like the sound. I don't know if it's maybe too crispy, but I really like how it sounds, so I don't think so. I think you just take a second to get used to it, and it really sounds cool. So yeah, cool sound. It's definitely, the vocals are like big Reality Check vibes, so it still stays true to your older sound, I guess is the way to say it. But yeah, great stuff. It's let's see, that's like 3 different projects you've shown us in a row now, so keeping us guessing about what we're gonna hear. All right, awesome. So who do we got next up today? Next up today is Tez, aka Albard. Okay, Tez says, this is in the pipeline for release eventually. This song is about a party I was at in my late teens when the house caught fire and we had to escape. Holy shit. It was a banger party, but anyway, vocals to come. Looking for, if you heard this live, would you think it's fun? Also, any mix critique in prep for vocals or any general thoughts? P.S. This is quieter mix, my bad. No worries. Here is Tez.
All right. Nice little instrumental. I'm excited to hear this with the vocals. I can kind of already hear it in my head, like combination of like Midwest emo sing-along chorus with like modern pop alternative verse. I can't think of the band, but you wouldn't want me to say it anyway. Just something like poppy and catchy, and like a lot of words for the verses, and then like shorter, yelly gang vocals for the chorus is that's what I recommend for that song. But I like it a lot. I think that's going to be really good, really catchy already, and I really liked the way the snare picked up, and then was really big and loud for the chorus. I really liked that. But yeah, sounding great. I think that's going to be a good one. Okay, so next up today we have Tigamaki, aka Ellie. Eustachian tube blockage. Yeesh. Okay, so brain too fried to preamble properly. That's okay. It's a work in progress. Lyrics are a rough draft. Want thoughts on where to go with it and what to change, what to add, what to remove, etc. All right, here's a work in progress.
The sweet release you try to find, the subtle sting that underlines. I have these conversations in my head at 3 a.m. I got too close, got scared and burned myself again. I hear the razor call my name. Tonight's another night of fighting off my brain. And it's killing me to be caught between the way I was, the way I am, and who I wanna be. You lost the shine behind your eyes. So scared to fail that you won't try. No way to hurt if you don't feel. Outrun the emptiness that's clawing at your heels. And it's killing me that you just can't see that who you are is not that far from who you wanna be.
right. Nice work in progress. It's good to hear something fresh and new and raw. I think it's a great sounding vibe, and I love the vocal melody and the lyrics. They were sticking in my head already. And just the overall vibe. I think you said this is called 5-inch Screws or something like that. I like the name. That's cool. Yeah, I just like the overall sound. I think it's just a cool vibe and production style, and I look forward to hearing more of it. I think it's good. I think you should keep developing it for sure. British accent. I have this weird habit of singing with British accent on certain words, and I'm not exactly sure why, because most people, it seems like, try to go more for the American accent, but for some reason my brain with certain words, I think it's because of the Beatles maybe, but I catch myself doing it, saying it like I sing it differently than I would say it, and I'm not sure why, but it happens. It's weird. But it's okay. It's okay to have British accent. I think it's good to lean into it, if anything. Make it more British. If you're Irish, make it more Irish, not less. Just lean into it, baby. All right, so enough BS from me. Next up today, we have Kirby Cat. Who did I get a track? I don't know if I got a track from Kirby Cat. Let me check again. Yes, I got a track. Okay, Kirby says, hey, let's relax a bit with a track for the main menu of my one-day very, very in progress game, Save the World. It's really just a track to set a certain vibe, 3 minutes that loops. I think it needs a bit more mixing. It has a lot of different tracks. All right, cool. Here's a little game music from Kirby. All right. That was Kirby Cats. Love it. Great stuff. I would say, since it's going to loop, for me, the main arpeggio kind of wore out its welcome a little bit sooner than where it dropped out. So I would either have it get a little bit quieter or switch up a little bit so it isn't quite so intense, I guess. Rhythmically, it's just like, because that thing is like just really grabs your attention and takes center stage. So maybe it could chill out a little bit sooner, because then it comes back later and it sounds great when it comes back again. So yeah, I don't know, but then it's also so tied into the lead melody, so it's tough. I'm not exactly sure the best way to go about it, but I felt like it could use a little bit of a break a little bit earlier, I guess is what I'm thinking. But I love the vibe, I love the feel, and I love the melodies. And it's got this like epic feel, this dun, 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 like it reminds me of Carol of the Bells from the Home Alone movie. But yeah, it's cool to hear something in 3/4 that's like more electronic, because you almost always only hear 4/4. So great job. It didn't sound like 3/4 like weird, it just sounded good. So nice job. Okay, so next up today we have JW. We had 242s. Yes, the John Williams version is the definitive version to me because of that movie. Okay, so JW says, hello, this is an unfinished track, about 50% recorded. It's probably very quiet because I haven't touched the master yet. Drums and piano are all there. Bass and guitar is unfinished, and I haven't even started vocals yet, so it's an instrumental for now. The mix, as usual, is very rough. I haven't started mixing it yet, so I'm mainly looking for feedback on the composition. There's probably some timing issues, but I think majority of it should be okay. Mainly just looking for general impressions. All right, here is JW. All right, that was JW bringing the metal. Yeah, great instrumental, ready for vocals. I know you said the guitars are only 50% there, but it sounded pretty good so far. I was not expecting to have a solo already, so that was a welcome surprise. Always good to get a face melter from you. And yeah, I mean, like, overall it's coming together. I can kind of picture the vocals in my head, I think. But yeah, the bass definitely stood out to me too. I know everybody was commenting on the bass. It does sound very good. And just, yeah, good bass line, good playing. That I can't imagine doing those hammer-ons with the yeah, that was impressive on bass. I've never attempted it. But yeah, nice one. All right, so next up today we have Nick 8 Rocks. Nick 8 Rocks Velvet. All right, so not much to say about this one. We have a 5-minute music demo that was made in May 27 to 29th last year, split into 2 songs. One is pure techno without drums and rock organ sounds, and the other is based on one of the 2023 music sketch ideas for Orsayami, which I showed previously on LCR about 2 years ago. The second part has a lot of Gillespie-esque, bebop-ish brass runs, piano riffs, and other J-pop Latin video game influences. It has microtonal pitch shifting as well, just to be mindful on that. And everything is serum-based and no samples in sight. Each of them have some ambient pauses and utilizes the Karplus strong string algorithm that takes an exciter noise and feeding it into the delay line to create a feedback loop. My first time doing physical modeling synthesis, which I've grown to despise recently because it's way too difficult to make decent models. Very CPU driven and very hard to come by, especially for complex models other than instruments outside of plucked strings. FM and wavetable for the win. This is also my final FL Studio demo to use Serum in general, as I moved away from that. I hope you guys will enjoy this one. As a side note, if anyone mentions piano riffs, it's inspired by soca music, though not. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so here is Nick 8 Rocks Velvet. Here we go. All right. That was Nick Gate, Rocks Velvet. And I really liked that one. That was really took you on a journey. I really liked the first half, the more techno half. I really liked the bass synth in there. And then the second half, it was definitely more video game vibes, like Sonic the Hedgehog. Casino theme almost. It was like a little bit of hints of that. But I liked the evolution from one to the next. And yeah, just great stuff. I like that one a lot. That was very accessible from like not like a pop song, but almost. It had some sensibilities of pop to it. Yeah, it's cool to hear what Serum can do. I just got Serum last week after LCR because Stripey helped me figure that out, and I'm loving it so far. But yes, great stuff. Thank you for sharing. And let's see, next up today we have Sonic Catalyst. Okay, this track is called Spirals of Decay. It features Solaria and HX Voc on vocals, synth vocals from Eclipse Sounds. The HX Voc was released a few weeks ago, and I've been working on getting to know the ins and outs of working with the voice bank. I know I've got a few weird artifacts to iron out, but I'm happy with the direction it's going. Also switched to BFD drums, and I'm working on getting them sounding good as well. Looking for any and all feedback. Nothing off limits. All right, here is Sonic Catalyst. All right, that was Sonic Catalyst with a banger. I remember that chorus for sure. It's very memorable. So I think if I remember right, you had a different male voice in there before. This one I would say is better. Seems to fit better, and the harmonies sound really, really good between the two of them. It did sound very dry, especially the male voice still. So I would put lots of good reverb and delay on there, of course, but sounding good. I think the the BFD drums, the kick was good. The snare was a little bit dark sounding, so I would just bring it a little bit brighter and maybe bring some of the low mids down on the snare. And then I think the guitars and the bass sounded really, really good. And yeah, the vocals were just a little bit dry, but sounding really good. No cap. All right. So next up today we have Dude Boot. Let's go. Okay, Dude Boot says this is the title track from the new R&B album I'm making. I need some help with mixing and more specifically vocal production because I'm very conflicted on whether or not I mixed it well. All right, here is Dude Boot.
Choices I have made, 'cause the moment that I saw you, I knew you'd be a mistake. I'm filled up with frustration, only got myself to blame, but I just get reminded every time I see your face. Laying in this bed of mine, wondering where you are tonight. Maybe I'm too far behind. Are you coming home tonight? Laying in this bed of mine, wondering where you are tonight. Maybe I'm too far behind. Are you coming home tonight? I'm your phantom. Held for ransom. Hold this mental. I'm your choosing not to let you break me down another time. 'Cause every time I see you, you start to fall back in line. But something in your switches when you start to get a sign. You ought to know, I only will go if you don't show. Laying in this bed of mine, wondering where you are tonight. Maybe I'm too far behind. Are you coming home tonight? Laying in this bed of mine, wondering where you are tonight. Maybe I'm too far behind. Are you coming home tonight? I'm your phantom. Held for ransom. Hold this mental. I'm your phantom. To me to turn around and just forgive you. Leave it to me not to learn from my mistakes. Leave it to me to turn around and say I love you when I don't need you. Leave it to me, yeah. I'm your phantom.
All right. That was Xavier G, aka Dude Boot. That was a banger. I really like that one. Yeah, good title track. That could be a hit for sure. I really like what you did. I think the mix is really good. I think the vocals are just a little bit too loud. There's parts where they're just right, and there's parts where they're just a little bit too loud. Mostly like the first half, they were kind of the more intimate vocals were maybe just a little bit too loud. And I was thinking it's possible like the mid frequencies, like the 500-ish range might be a little too loud, but I feel like if you turn down just the volume overall, then the EQ probably is just right. So, but they're kind of hitting like too loud in the mids right now, but I think if you just turn the volume down for the loud parts a little bit, then the vocal and instrumental will be just right. But yeah, really good job on that song. I really like the song. All the vocal layers and stuff, and like the automated pitch changes and stuff you did. Very good little details and stuff like that. So yeah, really good job on that one. Yeah, great job. Good stuff. Love it. That's going to be a great album. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear that rain, but it is hitting. All right. Next up today, we have Eno. And Eno just announced that there will be an announcement soon about Siege of Sound second season. If you look in the menu just below live community review, there is the Siege of Sound section. So watch out for announcements sometime in the next couple months or something like that. Anyway, I don't want to put too much pressure on Eno, but Eno says, "Sup everyone, I got Serum 2 a few days ago. Yeah, let's go." And I wanted to experiment with different sounds. Shout out to Stripey and Chameleon for convincing me to get it. They did to me too. This is the track that spawned from it called Haunting. I ran out of time on the outro, so more will be added, but this is what I got so far. All feedback welcome. All right, here we go. Here's Eno. All right, that was Eno. Love it. Love the vibe. Very Eno vibe. And the guitar at the end definitely brought it home as the Eno track. But I like the vocals in there, and I like all the synths. There was one in the middle. There was like a pluck or something that was a little bit jarring, but yeah, overall I love the synth sounds. And yeah, I don't know about you, but I've just like so far barely scratched the surface of even like checking out the presets in Serum. So it's like there's a lot to take in for something that's been around that long, but it's a lot of fun to play with, and I'm really enjoying the sound so far. But yeah, yours, love that track, and yeah, I hope that you keep it and finish it. It's a good one for sure. Definitely worth finishing and making part of your album or whatever you're going to end up doing. Yeah, good stuff. All right, and that brings us to the end. To me, I have a track for you guys. I made this last Sunday after LCR. I was feeling very inspired by y'all, so I made a track using Serum 2, and I pretty much made this in like 2 days, and then just like kind of finished the mix. So yeah, let me know what you think of it, if I should change anything or not. I'm pretty happy with how it is now. So yeah, this is called Crashing Down. All right, there you have it. That one is called Crashing Down. I'm going to release that one the first week of May. It'll be basically May Day. May 2nd, I think, is the Friday. So, yeah, thanks, everybody. Thanks for the feedback. And thanks, everybody, for joining LCR today and for all the great music and all the great feedback and energy. Today was a good one. And, yeah, thanks, everybody. And I definitely am going to keep enjoying Serum. I love it. Like I was saying, yeah, like how you can just draw on the LFOs. Super easy. It's really cool. I'm still just like preset surfing and checking out all the different sounds. So I haven't even gone past that yet to like actual sound design. But yeah, I figured out how to like go remap the parameters and stuff on the presets. So I'm learning how to use it as I tweak stuff. So lots of fun. Thanks to Stripey for convincing me to get it. And yeah, thanks everybody again for joining and for being here. And we'll see you again next time. I think William Max will be back this week on Thursday. But either way, I definitely will be here next week. So